Welcome to Vibe Coding and AI Assisted Development with Cursor, presented by Dr. Greg, that's me, and CatGPT, our
Hello.
newest presenter at AI Makerspace. At AI Makerspace, we are on a mission to create the world's leading community for people like you who want to build, ship, and share production LLM applications. And we attempt to achieve this grand goal by delivering very practical AI education focused on developers and aspiring AI engineers that delivers real ROI for you and for your company. Building, shipping, and sharing is the key. We'll try to inspire you today. We'll try to make it as easy as it can be by giving away what we know so you can continue to give away what you know to your network. And we can all embrace the LLM edge and focus on what we don't yet know, which, as we'll see today, is always more important than what we already know, especially out here on the edge of AI. So if you stick with us today for the next 45 minutes, what you'll kind of come to understand is a little bit about the difference between vibe coding and AI-assisted development. Vibes versus dev. And to kind of illustrate this, we're going to build, ship, and share a couple of different apps. One super vibey, and another one aligned with best practices. We're going to show you how to move beyond vibe coding into a little bit more of a professional way of viewing and of taking this AI assist seriously for you or potentially for folks in your company. So we're going to kick it off with the vibes, okay? So this one's for everybody. If you don't want to be a coder every day, if you don't want to be a developer every day, you'll still like this first part. But if you do and you're trying to get on the path, stick around for the whole event. We're going to tell you exactly how to live vibe code something according to best practices. But first, let's talk vibes. Okay, this was obviously a term that's gotten massive attention. Everybody's talking about it. It kind of started getting mainstream with Andre Karpathy's tweet. He's talking about when he's building a project or a web app, just a simple web app, a classic digital product or application. It's not really coding, okay? You just see stuff, say stuff, run stuff, copy, paste stuff, and it mostly works. One of the ways that vibe coding became so popular was Rick Rubin, the legend, kind of put this out shortly after vibe coding started to become a thing. He sort of put the way of code out as really a shout out to the Tao Te Ching, which he has really vibed with his whole life. Now, for those of you that don't know, Rick Rubin is in the music business. He basically runs on vibes. So this was totally on brand for him. And it's called The Way of Code because this is the book of the way. And this is kind of the image people have of vibe coding, the timeless art of vibe coding. When we recognize code as elegant, other code becomes sloppy. When we praise efficiency, the notion of waste is born. We get this beautiful dichotomy of the world between opposites, being and non-being, simple and complex, long and short, high and low. And of course, front end and back end follow one another. Therefore, the vibe coder builds without laboring and instructs by quiet example. The work is done and then forgotten. That is why it lasts forever. And so this kind of idea at the end of the way of code is this is how art happens. Starts with a prompt, a seed, and then maybe we walk away. We saw a lot of people talking about vibe coding early on in this, enjoy the process, just vibe. Use tools like Cursor and Agent Mode or Command K, which we'll meet today. There's been other thought leaders who've commented on vibe coding. For instance, Simon Willison, who's got a quite famous weblog and is becoming more and more of a thought leader in these circles. He said in his March 19th web blog, I'm concerned that the definition is already escaping its original intent. As he mentions, vibe coding is not the same thing as writing code with the help of LLMs. And we need to be careful about how we use the term vibe coding. It can be fun, and when it is, that's dope. And as AI assisted developers, we need to know how to do vibe coding. But that doesn't mean that it's enough. And it needs to be applied intelligently. This is a great example that Simon shared. That you need to do this on low stakes projects. You need to not be giving away your API keys. You need to understand that privacy is a real thing. And you need to basically develop apps like people who develop apps if you're going to develop apps. If you're just going to vibe and chill locally, it's probably fine. But, guys, I'm under attack. Ever since I started to share how I built my SaaS using Cursor, random things are happening, like maxed out API usage and all of this good stuff. Additionally, there are books out there that are called vibe coding. And embarrassingly for the authors and publishers, they fail spectacularly to understand what the term vibe coding means. The whole point of vibe coding is that you don't need to be a software engineer to do it. Now, why should you listen to Rick? Well, Rick is great vibes. Why should you listen to Simon? He's the kind of guy that they hit up when they release new models like GPT-5. So let's take a look at some vibes, okay, shall we? We're going to introduce you guys to Cat GPT here, and she's going to build a Cat GPT app. I should say she's going to show you the vibes that vibe coding can create. Any of you guys with cats out there ever feel like it's just not always easy and obvious to understand what your cat needs? Sometimes it is, like these famous cats. But imagine if you could ask questions by like taking pics of the cat or doing voice recordings of your cat. Imagine if we could vibe code up something like this with some simple tools. Fast API, vibe code up a React front end, use a quick LLM, an OpenAI GPT model perhaps. To show you how this works, we're going to head over to Cat GPT herself, who's going to demonstrate and show you the vibes of Cat GPT. Cat?
Okay, hey everyone. Let me show you the app. So can everyone see it? I believe you do. So this is an app we put together. It's a fun app for cats. So you can ask like, how is your cat feeling? What you should do to make it feel better. We vibe coded it from scratch. We didn't code anything. It's using Fast API and React and a large language model. So you can vibe code it also yourself. You can go to our GitHub repo that you will have available and just try it on your own. So let's ask it a question. Why does my cat hates me? So actually, I don't have very good experience with cats. So I want to know, why is it hating me? Oh, sorry. So there's a thing with vibe coding, right? Let me just upload it again. Okay. Let's start the backend first. This is how you can run it also locally. I have to. We can kill it. Sorry guys about that. Let's first kill everything so we can run it to make sure that the backend works, because so far just the front end was working. All right. Okay, it's killing it. Okay, now it should be good. So let's start the backend. Now it's running. Let's start the front end. And I will show you later how to use Cursor on your own. This is just like to present to you what to do. So CD AI. Okay. All right, now it should be working. Sorry about that. So why does my cat hate me? Try it again. Let's ask. Okay, now it's thinking. Now it's sending a request to large language model, GPT-4o, asking, why does my cat hate me? And it's gonna give a response. So this app loves cats, so it's probably not gonna tell you that like cats might not like you. It's probably gonna say like, yeah, it doesn't hate you. Cats can be mysterious and their behavior misinterpreted, but you know, cats are nice creatures. That's what it pretty much says. Then you can click on here to get some statistics about cats. Here you can see like what is the percentage share of cat population in United States, in China, and other countries. This is to see like how cats population is changing over time compared to household population. You can see as there are more and more households, there are also more and more cats. That makes sense, right? But as there are more and more cats, there are also more and more cats in shelters. That's the sad truth. And adoption fee is really growing. People love to adopt cats. And yeah, this is per household trend. But the fun part, which I think is the most fun, is that you can upload a picture of a cat, like this one, and you can see how is your cat feeling. So it goes again to a large language model that is looking at it. I think some of you is not muted. And it says like it's happy and content. It appears to be in good spirits. So recommendation is continue, provide love and care. Your cat is super happy. And the last button is that you can upload sound of your cat that, here. And again, it's gonna analyze the sound. Okay, you can like replay it. I'm not sure you can hear it on Zoom, but you can hear it if you have it locally on your computer. And here's the sound description. It's a meow sound, what a shocker, which is a common vocalization used by cats to communicate with humans. It's repeated 4 times. It could be a way that your cat actually wants something, it wants attention. So it doesn't mean it's sick, but probably you want to check the food and water bowl, spend some playtime, and be nicer to your cat, more attentive. So it gives you like some recommendations. Okay, so this is the app. You guys can all try it out. It's available on GitHub, or you can vibe code it yourself. It took me probably like half an hour. It's not hard. Okay, thank you.
All right, excellent, Kat. So I want to ask you a couple questions about this Cat GPT app. How long did it take you to vibe code this exactly?
Yeah, it was like a half an hour. Yeah, it was probably back and forth.
All just how many prompts would you say you had to use for this?
So I started with a simple prompt, like create me like the flashiest, pinkest app for cats you can think of that I can share with LLM. And I gave it .env with my API key to OpenAI, right? And then I looked
Yep.
at it and I was like, well, I can chat with it, but that's just too easy. And I was thinking, how about I get some stats because I'm a data scientist and I like data.
Because you love stats. Yeah, exactly.
And then I was like, well, how about I can use it in my house? I can just upload picture. I also like image recognition, so I did a next prompt, and the last prompt was let's do audio, and I found some sounds of cats online
Yeah.
and to test it out. So it was yeah, it was multiple prompts. There wasn't really so many bugs to troubleshoot. I used Claude 4.5. It looks really well. So yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
Okay. Okay. So really something like that, and that was just deployed locally to
This is
your just
yeah.
in a web app, just yeah, just in browser. So that's something that basically anybody could do. You don't need a huge GPU to do it. Very, very easy to do, right?
I didn't code anything at all. You really are just prompting it and you are using logical reasoning to say like what's next. And if you give it some ideas how to do it, it always helps. But you don't have to code anything. Yes.
Okay, so would you be comfortable shipping something like this like into production? If I said, okay, I love your Cat GPT, let's go ahead and make it a remote app. Let's host it, and I'm expecting 100 cat users to use it tomorrow. What would you be concerned about?
Yeah, the 100 users, so it can handle traffic. That's what I would be concerned about. So yeah, I would say no. I wouldn't put it to production tomorrow. I just vibe
Yeah.
coded it like yesterday. I would definitely check the code first. And I would make sure that I deploy it somewhere where it's scalable and it handles traffic, maybe talk to software engineer, things like that.
Okay. Okay. So you'd probably want to just maybe button up a couple things before kind of getting it in the hands of users. But maybe if it was just like one user, might be fine. Just quick deploy it to somewhere remote. It's not really a high security issue. I mean, it's not something that you're going to be super concerned about, really, right?
Yeah, it's if it's just gonna be like very simple POC and just show it to one person or few people, like, hey, this is the direction we are going. Maybe you could do it. If you
Yeah.
are very brave, you can do it, but you might get some feedback about it.
Yeah. And if you were going to do this like for an enterprise, what do you think would actually be the next step of like, you try to show this to your boss? What's your boss going to say?
Yeah, I would test it more. You wanna test it, you wanna have there some synthetic questions for the app to ask in the chatting to make sure that it answers correctly, that um, it's concise, that it's accurate, that it's
Right.
citing resources. You wanna make sure that the stats that I got with the charts are actually correct. Um, you want to make sure that if I upload different images, maybe if the cat is mad or something like that, that
Yeah.
it gives me the right answer. So that's what I would do before really moving forward, unless I'm just showing what I showed you with one.
Yeah. We've got some don't leak any keys, classic, right? We've got some you know, some developer best practices that we should probably consider before actually shipping this thing. Now, if I'm just a startup founder and I'm just like EC here in the chat, just trying to focus on like generating somebody to care about my thing, maybe I'll ship it to my cat friends and see how it goes. Generating profit from it, that's a longer discussion. This is going to focus on engineering today. We're going to assume that you could get users, but that is a whole art and science in and of itself. Okay, Kat, thanks for showing us that quick vibe coded app. We're going to go ahead and get into the next piece of this, guys. We are going to keep you guys that are interested just in the high level here with a little bit of very meta discussion about where we are today in AI and with LLMs and with AI Assist. But we will be getting into some more depth that if you don't want to be a developer, you may not really care so much about in just a little while. It's important to remember that a vibe coder, if you're a developer, is not going to take your job. Now, if you're an AI product manager, probably you should be vibe coding. That's kind of becoming best practice. Even you should be able to probably do a lot of the AI assisted development best practices that we're talking about. In fact, you have to lead developers after all. But it's an AI assisted developer that's going to take your job. And when we think about AI assist, there's a couple different ways that we can consider it. We can consider that we're using AI to assist us in development, or we can also think about the fact that we're building AI apps themselves by leveraging AI assist. And either way, we're going to want to leverage the same kind of basic tool stack. The interactive development environment of today is different than the one of just a couple of years ago. We want to basically give our interactive dev environment the docs we know it needs to be able to write code very appropriately. We want to be able to set up rules that will allow us to be a little bit more automated in our testing of our simple LLM applications and of our agents. We want to be able to make sure we understand still what the heck the code is doing. We want to be able to read it and understand it. And we want to be able to vet that the AI is doing a good job, just like we would do to a junior developer or to anybody that's working underneath of us. So it's important to be able to pick up new tools like Cursor. This is definitely the best practice in the industry in terms of getting started with doing AI assisted development. Now, of course, you can pick up things like Lovable or v0.dev and you can prompt your way into an app. Sure, if that's going to get the job done for you, that's super dope. That's not going to get you a job, though, as a developer. And at AI Makerspace, we're very, very focused on people that are building things for real companies in production. And as AI continues, we're getting back to this idea that if you want to be a programmer, you can be a programmer. If you don't want to be a programmer, you probably need to use AI a slightly different way. This AI programmer of the future is getting all sorts of buzz. The cursor of today is the very start of that. This is from January, which is basically forever ago. And in January, Cursor told us that it's being used by millions of users. Of course, it's not just Cursor, it's folks like Devin from Cognition. I say folks, the AI software engineer, the autonomous SWE Devin, or Manus, right? Devin is from Cognition. And just this month, Cognition raised over $400 million. Their team is crushing it to build the future of software engineering. Last March, when they launched Devin, it wasn't really clear that this future would ever become a reality. Today, though, it's different. Agents are already doing real work alongside individual devs within large enterprises on real teams. And they also, of course, acquired Windsurf, the #1 Cursor competitor, and this was a boon for them. Windsurf, it's worth noting, the wave-inspired form in the Windsurf logo is more than just a shape. It's a feeling. It echoes how ideas move. And when there's no friction at all, fluid and forward, very Tao Te Ching. It's not just Devin and Cursor. We're seeing this from large model labs, cum large agent labs, like Codex. And of course, Codex has a long and storied history. We've covered Codex on our YouTube channel for quite some time. Codex is getting new releases all the time. Codex is just the brand for agentic coding under the hood of OpenAI. We have this agent, and it should be mostly able to do work on its own computer, but you should also be able to meet it wherever you're doing work, in the CLI, in your IDE, etc. Claude Code is similar. And there's a really interesting thing that just happened. You know, Claude Code, the SDK, was just renamed 2 days ago to Claude Agent SDK. And this is now a collection of tools that helps developers build powerful agents on top of Claude Code. In other words, the agent harness that powers Claude Code can power many other types of agents too. This broader vision of coming out of code assist into the wider world of AI is very important for AI-assisted developers to at least have a pulse on today. This is something we covered just a few hours ago on our YouTube channel. And it's important that this agent SDK is sort of at the meta layer. It's an SDK for Claude Code. It's not exactly the same thing as like a LangGraph or a Llama Index or a Crew AI or Pydantic or whatever your favorite agent framework is. We're going beyond here. When we talk about agents at AI Makerspace, we're talking about systems that can leverage reasoning to make dynamic decisions in an application flow. There's been some consensus on agent in the last week or so, in the last few weeks, at least according to Simon Wilson, who's been working on this for quite some time. An LM agent runs tools in a loop to achieve a goal. Now, it's important to think about agents in a vibe coding context because that's how meta AI-assisted stuff has become. And it's important to kind of be able to understand that, like, if an LM wrote the code for you and then you reviewed it, tested it, and thoroughly made sure you could explain it and how it works to someone else that's not vibe coding, you're still a developer, even though the AI kind of helped you develop. And I think this is where we need to be sort of thinking in the future. There's ways that we want to be aligning with best practices of software engineering, when we're using AI-assisted tools or agents or autonomous software engineers, we can extend our definition, our AI makerspace definition of agent, to talk about coding agents, but the lines are starting to blur here too. This is a system that can leverage or emulate reasoning to make dynamic decisions in an application flow to produce working and functional code. And, the idea of agency in coding, it's not new, from handcrafted to being able to Google things and Stack Overflow to getting Copilot. And you saw the sort of autocomplete even Kat was using earlier today, to having ChatGPT help debug, to CLI coding agents, to now more IDE level coding agents, to more autonomous software engineer level coding agents, to autonomous software teams. This is now how many of these agents are being sold, to entire organizations. Maybe the 1 trillion person company is coming soon. Anyway, so how far away are we from the actual work being done? How much do we understand the actual work being done? These are the important questions to ask. If we're not doing any of the scoping, planning, reasoning, or coding, like, what are we doing exactly? This is an important question for all of us to be able to ask. And so I just want to demonstrate that this is getting quite meta here. If you don't know about agents yet, just think about agents as being able to reason through and take actions. It might decide to take an action before it gets the answer to your question. It might feed that back in before it gets the answer. Generally, we think about taking actions as having access to tools or calling functions and managing a conversation thread. With this kind of new paradigm of now Claude Code itself rebranding as Claude Agents SDK, we have this kind of meta loop where it's not just think through, do I know the answer, but literally agentically gather context like Claude Code, and then take actions which might include agentic reasoning loops, and then verify work, not just observe results of API calls, and then repeat. So we can kind of think of this smaller, more classic agent loop as being fully contained, this conversation thread, this context, in a single step of gathering context. This is what happens when we don't just call a tool, we call a whole agent, and it basically is like a person that works for our organization. How do we use that as part of our AI-assisted development? These are the questions we need to ask. Today, it goes far beyond vibe coding. So, Kat, I want to just get your opinion on this real quick. We continue to go quite far here, beyond like classic software development. If the agent can basically do everything, why do I even need to learn these classic stupid things like Git and branching and all this stuff if the agent's going to do it for me?
Because the agents are going to do a lot of things for you in a way that it's not going to be as transparent, and it might be harder for you to get to the previous version of your code. You can very quickly get into the rabbit hole that you are going to be just vibe coding for hours and hours, and you will not get anywhere. So you want to follow some best Git flow practices. You want to get it connected to GitHub so you can see like where exactly you are, what your agents created, and if you actually like it, if you want to connect it to your production code, or if you want to go back to the previous version. That's why.
Okay. So like the agent isn't gonna basically automate fully the ability to do stuff from the ground zero. I mean, this is one of the interesting things we found at AI Makerspace in the company is like, could an agent get the information from, let's say YouTube, from Zoom, from LinkedIn, and then put it where I need it to go? It's like, yeah, probably, but I will never trust an agent to do that. What? I'm just going to give the agent access to my YouTube. It might delete all my videos. It might delete my LinkedIn stuff. It might delete like, and I think this is a real important key is like, if you don't have those fundamental root level things, you're going to be the one with root level access and root level trust. And it's gonna, I don't know, like it's just, I can't see being able to trust an agent enough to do that very simple thing that, really any human could do. But it's almost like it's like a best practices still matter. It's like being trustworthy still matters. It's like if nothing else, being able to work on that floor really matters. So okay, so we're going to enter the next part of this, Cat, where if you don't want to just like hear about cool stuff, stick around. But if you just kind of wanted to hear about cool stuff, then this might be a little bit too deep in the weeds for you. Cat, you're going to vibe code live for us now. A simple AI application. I'm sorry, a simple application using AI Assist aligned with best practices that really matter. And the problem here is that AI assisted development is not as fun as vibe coding. You teach people Git and they don't buy it, they don't care, they don't think it's important. And so we're not even going to build an LLM app here. We're going to build something where we don't have a user input. We don't have a good, bad, or great output. Like literally, we're just going to click the app, a thing's going to change. But man, it's going to be built according to best practices. This is not Cat GPT. This is a history of the Czech Republic, live, vibe coded according to AI Assist best practices by Cat GPT. All right, Cat, over to you. Everybody enjoy.
All right. Well, I think it's gonna be fun. But the fun is that like you will learn this, you will know how to do it, and then you can use it anytime you want to create an application, and you will never get to that rabbit hole you might have got if you just vibe code it, not knowing any of this. So this is gonna help you figure out how to set up cursor from the beginning, how to understand Git flow, and we will create an application with a fast API that we will just like vibe code together live. And we will be able to see how we can revert to the previous version, and we can understand the entire flow, which is very important when you are vibe coding. It's more important than anytime before. If 5 years ago you were using GitHub, this is much more important than it was before, because we are giving more freedom to agents if we are vibe coding than if we were just like coding it ourselves, right? So let's get started. So, this setup is gonna be mainly for Mac OS. If you have other operation system, you can click here. This is all available on our GitHub page. And here is also set up for other operation systems. Then what you need to do is you need to follow these steps. First, you need to install Homebrew. So you are just gonna copy this line, and you are gonna paste it into your terminal right here. So Command C, Command V. Once you install it, you wanna make sure it's up to date. So again, Command C, these two lines, or Control C if you have Windows. Put it here, but for Windows, again, you might have a little bit different lines. So go here, please. This is for Mac. Once you are in, you have Homebrew. Congratulations. That's gonna take like a couple of minutes, so I'm not gonna do it live right now. Once you are in and you have Homebrew, you wanna get a wget so you can get stuff from the internet, and you can get all the dependencies that we need.
Kat, we
yes?
have a request if you could please zoom in a bit.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Let me also maybe do this. If I close this. This is just the preview of the README file that you can find online. Can you see it now? Well,
Yeah, let's zoom in a couple more times.
okay.
One more.
All right.
Yeah,
That's good. Now even my grandma would see it. So that's good. This you wanna again take it, copy it, and paste it into your terminal right here. And once you are in, you want to make sure that you have Git and that you have Python. So if you don't have Python, this is the line of code you need. That's all. So we are making it pretty simple for you. The Git is what we are going to use today a lot. That's for the version control for GitHub. So once you have that installed, again, that's going to take a couple of minutes. You want to make sure that you have SSH keys. SSH keys is like your password to your GitHub. That's how you can communicate with GitHub easily, how you can clone, get repositories, pull, push easily. So you will take this, you will type it here. I will show you this. You just put your email in like that. Here you will select the directory where you want it. If you're happy with this, that's where I have it. You just click enter. But I already have the keys, so I don't want to override them. You put Y, I put no. And it's going to ask you passphrase. I recommend if you don't want to remember the passphrase, just click enter and there will be no passphrase. So you never have to put passphrase when you are cloning and pushing and pulling. Now, when you have those keys, you can just copy them from the directory like this. You just type in this code. Again, you can find it here and just copy and paste it. Once you have it copied, you have it in your clipboard. You go to your GitHub page. You go here to settings. Right here, SSH keys. Add a new SSH key. Name it somehow, my key. Paste it here and click add SSH key. And that's it. Now you are connected to GitHub. You can clone and do everything pretty easily again, like I said. So now when we have this, the boring part, we can create our repository. So repository is going to be like your folder where you are going to put all your files and where we are going to create our vibe coded application right now. So let's call it demo up. Okay. It's going to be publicly visible. I don't care about that. I want to make sure I don't push accidentally any of my secrets. We are not going to have secrets there today, but this is just a good practice. License, I'm used to putting MIT. That's for copyrights, so no one is stealing my code. I create a repository. I have it. You go here, and now we have the SSH keys set up. So we just click copy. We will go to our terminal, and we will type in git clone. And it's gonna clone it to whatever path you put there. I just put it, if you put it just like me, it's gonna be under your username. So right now here. So it was demo up. You can see I have a lot of stuff. Okay, here, yeah. So we are happy about that. We have our folder. And now when we have this set up, you can go down, scroll down to set up your cursor if you don't have that yet. Make sure to install VS Code first and then install a cursor. And once you have it installed, again, you can just click on this. If you have Windows or Linux, some other operating system, please go to this link again. Once you have cursor, which I hope a lot of you do, you go here to extensions. And you want to make sure that you are connected to your Python. So you type in Python. This is like to make sure that you have debugger, that you have good Python language support, so it understands Python and all that. So you are going to install it. You will click install here. As you can see, I already have it. The next important thing is to have Jupyter. So you can connect to Jupyter notebooks if you want to code in Jupyter notebooks. So again, you want to make sure that this is installed. Okay, once you have that set up, we want to make sure that we are connected to GitHub. You go here, you go to your background agents, and this is the fun part with cursor. If you go to your background agents, you can connect to different applications. The fun part, I think, is to connect to Slack. You can connect to Slack, so this is where you can wipe code without having to even be on cursor. You can imagine, you can put a super whisperer to your Slack. You can go running, you can talk to your Slack. The Slack is gonna be connected to your cursor, and what you say, it's gonna make cursor do and create the application for you. But that's maybe next time. Today we are just gonna do GitHub. So you wanna click connect. And this is gonna walk you step by step to connect. It's gonna make sure that like you are authenticated with GitHub and that you give it access to some repositories. You can see I have some organizations that I have access to. So that's great. So once we are connected to GitHub, the next important thing is that our agents follow the Git flow. Like I already explained the importance. For that, we wanna add some rules. So these rules, if you put the rules here, if you add rule, you can just type it like, be nice to me, make sure you never cheat, make sure you don't hallucinate. You can tell it what you want cursor to behave independently, regardless like what project you are in. It's gonna like always behave this way. But if you want it just for a given project, you are gonna add rule here. So what we are gonna do now, let me first make sure that we are in the right folder. So we created that repository from GitHub, right? We took it from GitHub to our local computer. Now we need to open it in Cursor. So you click File, Open Folder, and we will go to our demo app. Where is it? It's right here with our license. You can see the license there. That's the MIT license. There is the git ignore. So nice. So now we wanna, let me also open the step-by-step guide I showed you before, just to make sure that we can see it too. It's right here. And why do I wanna do it? Is because I have put here for you the Git flow rules that you want the agents to follow. So you just wanna highlight all of these lines, these pink lines. You type in Command C, and then you wanna add a new rule. We are gonna add it just for this project. So we are not gonna add it for across all projects. Today we will just add it for our project. So you click Add Rule. You click Git Flow Rule. So we create a Git Flow rule, and now I'm like, what is this? I don't know what to do. So Command A, you select everything, and if you put Command L, that's how you connect this file with the agents. So press Command L, and you can see here on the right, that's where your agents live. That's where you are chatting with your agents. That the Git flow rule is up here, and I'm gonna say what I want it to do. I wanna make sure that I have it on agent option and that I have model that I wanna use. You can select models here, GPT-5, you can use whatever models you like, or you can just give it freedom and type in auto. So it will select whatever rule, whatever model it thinks is the best for you. Now we will say, create me rules following this Git flow process. And you just Command V. You don't even have to understand like the Git flow process. You are just like, yeah, like this is supposed to be Git. I want you to do it. And I will explain you the process as we go too. But you actually don't have to. You just type it in and it's gonna rewrite this thing with the rules that you need. Lately, like it's trying to update Cursor like every day. I'm just popping up new models as we go. Okay, so we have it here. And what's cool is that you have these two buttons. Keep means that you wanna keep the code. Undo, you wanna revert to the previous version. But I wanna keep it. So I just click keep and I like it. So now let's go to creating the application. If I click this, it will create a new chat. So let's click here and let's type in how we want it. So create me a simple, very pink and flashy, fast API application about the history of the Czech Republic. It will be only in one paragraph just to make it simple so it doesn't take a long time. We click send and now the agents should follow it. First it creates to-do list, so it tells itself like, hey, what am I gonna do first, what's next, and it's individual steps. So now it's creating me a main.py, so it's gonna be some Python script. I don't have to do anything, I don't have to code, I'm just waiting for getting results. And in the meantime, while we are waiting, how about we look at another very important thing, which is you want to open your terminal here. So if you right click here and type in, select open in integrated terminal, it will open the terminal where you are right here. The other thing I would recommend you is whenever you want to create application, vibe coding it, don't open a folder with many files and other folders. Really just open the folder where the application is going to lie. So there is, the agents don't create many scripts like elsewhere and it doesn't become messy like that. So when we are here, we want to make sure that we have, we create some virtual environment. So this is also very good practice, is to create virtual environments. The reason is you don't want to have problem with libraries not being compatible. So whenever you install libraries for a project that the project requires, you want to always have it in one virtual environment. And when you have a new project, you might create a new virtual environment. So let's create it. Now we need to activate it. So you just type in source. Then you go inside of it and you activate it. If you have it activated, you will see that it's here on the left. So now when we have our virtual environment, we want to install the libraries there. How do we install them? You just put pip install our requirements. And by the way, if you don't know what to do, he wrote it here for you too, or you can find it in the README. He created a README for you, so you know exactly what to do. I just know, but if you don't, you can also follow the steps, or you can ask it. Now it's installing all the libraries to this virtual environment that it created. And now we can try to open the app. We typed here Python main.py. Let's do it. Okay, and now we want to open it. You can select this. And my favorite thing in Cursor is you can press Command-Shift-P, which opens the command palette. And you put here simple browser, and you can paste it here so you can see it inside of Cursor, how it looks. So that's very flashy, right? Okay, well, now what we want is, we like it. So please push this application to GitHub. So it's in cloud, people can see it. We have public repo following Git flow rules. Usually don't even have to say to follow the rules. It should follow it on its own since we edit them here. So let's see what it's doing. So it's doing git init, that initializes git. It makes sure that I don't have any secrets. Okay, I accept. Add means it's adding all the files there. And now it's committing, it's saying what it did. And right now it's not doing any branches because I don't have anything there yet. So we will have to make change later. Okay, now it's doing branch 2 already. Okay, so now it creates branch. Does the checkout be develop? The branch is called develop. Now it's gonna be locally, but you can see it here on the left. Do you see the left corner, develop? So we are in branch develop. We are no longer on main. But if you also wanna see the branch online, we will have to push it. What it does next is it creates a branch feature. So we know exactly what feature it added to the branch develop. Okay, let me tell you very quickly, why are we doing all this? My picture is just in my way. Okay, why are we doing this? Here you have a pretty nice chart. So what we have on GitHub originally is a branch main. That's your production code. That's a code you don't want to mess up. That's a code you don't want to change directly. So what we wanted to do, we always want Cursor to create first a branch develop. That is going to be the same thing as the main branch first. But the develop branch is where we are going to be merging the changes. So imagine you have a main branch, that's your production code, and then you have a develop branch where you are going to be adding features and adding changes. And only when you are happy with the entire development, you are going to merge it to the main branch. So now it's going to like remotely connect to it. So it added the feature branch. So a feature branch, imagine it's going to be one of those dots. It's going to be like a branch that is connected to develop branch. So now it's pushing it. So we should be able to see it online. Now it's pushing the develop branch, so we can see the develop branch online. And we can see the feature branch online. I think it's gonna start to merge it too. So we have now 3 branches, but it's not merging anything. It's just that we can see what it was doing. Let's go to our GitHub so we can explain it. So here are the branches. Let's refresh. And we can see we have branch main, develop, and feature branch, right? But since we didn't do really any changes, all the branches are gonna be first the same. But now it's gonna be the fun part, okay? Let's make changes. So let's go here, and let's just like retype this to Slovak, just very simply. Let's do the Slovak. So there is a change. Now push the changed README to GitHub. Okay, let's see if it's gonna be smart enough to put it into the not main branch. So first it's gonna look at status. It's gonna be adding the README file to Git. Okay, we can see that we are in the feature branch, so that's fine that he's committing. And it's gonna be pushing now the changes to the feature branch. So imagine like you have a colleague, he makes change to the app just in the README file. He's gonna push it to your GitHub. And now you are the one who is in charge. So you can look what your colleague did. You can be like, oh, he created a Slovak Republic thing. Okay, cool, do I like it? My develop branch didn't change yet. My main branch didn't change. My production code is intact. And now I can decide if I like it. If I do like it, first we have to create a pull request so everyone can see it. And we can decide whether we are gonna merge or not. If we like it and we wanna merge it, we can merge it. This says where it would get merged. So we probably first wanna merge it to develop branch, not to the main branch, right? We don't wanna touch the main branch. Okay, so merge the feature branch to develop branch. And that's a great thing is that like these branches, these agents are gonna do all this merging for us. We don't even have to know the Git commands anymore. So now it goes to the develop branch. It looks everything that is in develops to make sure that we are up to date if there were any changes. And now it's gonna merge it with the feature branch. The no FF is there because the develop branch didn't change from the main branch. Now it's gonna push it to the develop and we should be able to see it. And now it's trying to delete the feature branch. Once you push it to the develop, you probably don't need the, you don't need the other branch anymore. So let's go back, let's go here. And let's look if it went to the develop branch. Yeah, now we have it in the develop branch. So let's click on this, on the commits, and that's where you can decide whether you like the change or not. Let's say we didn't like the change. We didn't want to merge it. You click on this, where you copy this link, and you type here, just revert back to this. And it will revert it back. So that's just pretty much the simple workflow. And for the sake of time, I will give it back to you, Greg.
All right, excellent, Kat. Loved that. That was really, really awesome. It is something that I think not enough people appreciate, like the details there that matters. And I love everybody that stuck around today. So, I want to go back to this question before we close today, Kat. Like, why again is it important to learn AI assisted development? You kind of just walked us through why without ever like telling us about GitHub. You kind of just walked us through really showing us. But in a nutshell, what do you want people taking away from this demo?
Yeah, I want to make sure that everyone who is creating application with using AI in any way is following the best practices. So they never get into the trouble. They don't understand like what happened to their code, and that the code is not going anywhere.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Kat. And we look forward to the next event with you soon. All right, everybody, it's time to wrap up today. Thanks for joining us today. We saw a lot and covered a lot of ground. We can vibe code, and that's dope. But if we want to be developers, we really need to understand best practices for development and then make sure we're doing that in an AI-assisted world. Vibe coding a basic app, of course, is trivial, but all the setup that's required to go in and actually do development like a developer is still as non-trivial as it's ever been, even though we can use AI Assist to help us. Now, the line continues to blur, and it's important to keep this in mind and spend time with the latest tools. But certainly, even if you don't really know anything about AI, it's worth checking out Cursor, spending some time with it, setting up some rules, getting comfortable in this new interactive dev environment that's become a best practice now. And we'll keep you abreast of best practices as we go here. If you do have questions, please throw them directly into the chat, and I believe Kat will be happy to answer them for you. This has been another AI Makerspace event. Remember, we are on a mission to create the world's leading community for people like you who want to build, ship, and share. Typically, our content is a lot more advanced than this. As you can see, Kat is really making it a little bit more approachable for beginners that really want to get into development for the first time. If you're looking for accountability and community, join our Discord today. We've got a nearly 3,000 person set of really cool, really competent people. We saw some of them in the chat today, like Manny. Shout out to Manny. And if you're looking for a place to start, jump in, drop an intro, and we'll help you get started today. Additionally, if you're trying to really accelerate and get that 150, 200K a year job, we of course teach courses on Maven. The next flagship course is called the AI Engineering Bootcamp, cohort 9, but it's not until January. What we're doing in the meantime, while we run cohort 8, is we're teaching, Kat and I are teaching the on-ramp. This is going to help you really dig into the details of what kind of Python do you need to know? How do you actually hit LLM APIs? How can you get front end and back end all put together? If you take this lightning lesson and you take the next lightning lesson that is coming up in just 2 weeks on how to build an end-to-end application, you kind of got what you need. But if you need to spend more time with it, and we know so many of you guys that are trying to get into this for the first time, you do need to spend more time with it, with the Git flows, with Cursor, with one-on-one feedback and support. That's what this is all about. So we'd love to see you in the next lightning lesson. Consider joining the AI Engineering Bootcamp in January, and as your bonus, you'll get free access to one or even both of the Engineer on-ramps if you need them. If you've got a team and you're looking to upskill the team, reach out to me personally or anybody on our team to learn more about how we can help really drive AI transformation through your organization. And of course, shout out to Kat GPT. Connect with her, like and subscribe. You can always connect with me or anybody else on our team, but this is her first event, and I think she did a pretty damn good job. What do you guys think? Let us know in the chat. Additionally, we'll throw some feedback into the chat. We'd love to hear from you. Since this is an event with a new presenter, we'd love to know if you found this useful and what kind of content you'd like to see in the future. So our ops team will throw some feedback into the chat. But with that, guys, it's time to close out. You got an extra bonus 15 minutes today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed from start to finish. I really appreciate all you guys that are still here. That's awesome. And let's kind of end where we started here and do the send-off. Enjoy your Wednesday, guys. Cheers, everybody. See you soon. Bye, everybody. See what we got in the chat here. Love this. Woohoo! Loved it. Super helpful, Kat. Very useful. Let's go. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.